Example number 2. So, example number 2 is of there are 5 elements in A, that is set A, and 6 elements in set B, and 9 elements in A union B. Then how many elements have they in common? So, is the question. Then now the solution starts as per the problem. So, there are 5 elements in set A, 5 elements in set A can be given by means of, that is, number of elements present in set A are of 5. It can be written as n of A equals to 5. 6 elements in B. So, 6 elements in set B can be given by means of. So, here number of elements present in set B are of 6. So, we can write it as n of, that indicates number of elements present in set B are of 6. 9 elements are in A union B. So, here 9 elements in set, that is A union B, implies. So, number of elements present in this set of A union B are of 9. So, here we can write it as number of, indicating by means of n, of elements present in A union B given by means of 9. In common. So, how many elements have they in common? So, common mean the intersection. So, we have to find out. So, here number of elements in common, that is represented by means of number of elements present in common, that is common in both A and as well as, and indicates intersection A and as well as A and B, that is A intersection B equals to question mark. In order to find out n of A intersection B, let us utilize this formula, that is n of A intersection B equals to n of A plus n of B minus n of A union B. So, based upon this principle, so let us find out the value of n of A intersection B, that is number of elements present in set A intersection B. N of A intersection B is unknown, then that is equals to n of A is given by means of 5 plus n of B, elements present in set B are of 6, minus n of A union B given by means of 9. That implies 5 plus 6 is of 11 minus 9 written as it is. So, first of all I have simplified. So, these two, 5 and as well as 6, 5 plus 6 is of 11 minus 9. Then now that implies, so we have to simplify 11 and 9, 9 is of negative and 11 is of positive. So, plus of minus is minus. So, let us subtract. So, in order to subtract, I say greater minus least. So, we will be getting 11 minus 9 as 2. To assess the sign of 2, 11 is greater than 9. So, 11 sign is of positive. It assesses the sign of positive. So, in this manner, so here number of elements in common are of 2. So, here therefore, say number of elements in common, that is in common to both sets A and as well as B, are of 2 in number. So, in the similar manner, let us go for one more example, that is example number 3. So, in this example number 3, in a class of 40 students, in a class room or in a class of 40 students, 19 students have brought pencils. So, here among 40 students of a class, so 19 brought, so 19 students brought pencils, and 16 students have brought scales. Then out of these out of these students, 4 students have brought both, that is pencils and as well as the scales. So here we have to find out how many of those, that is how many students did not bring either pencils or scales. So here the question is of students in a class are of 40, among 40, say here 19 students are having pencils and 16 brought scales. But out of these students, 4 students have brought both the pencils and as well as scales. Then how many students did not brought either pencils or scales? So here the solution starts now. As per problem, total strength of a class or total number of students in a class that is mu, universal set, given by means of 40. 19 students have brought pencils. So here 19 students, as per the problem, 19 students have pencils. So here mathematically we can write it as, so that implies number of students brought pencils are of 19, so we can write it as n of. So pencils I am going to indicate by means of p. So here pencils and scales. So here I am going to indicate, so here pencils by means of the letter P and scales by means of the letter S. So based upon this, so I want to write pencils by means of P. So n of P, that means it indicates number of students who brought pencils are of 19. Then now 16 students have brought scales. So 16 students have scales. So this sentence or the statement can also be written mathematically as, so number of students who are having scales, so a number of students n of having scales represented by means of S, so we can write it as n of S equals to, they are of 16. Out of these students, so your 4 students are having both pencils and as well as scales, say they brought both, that is pencils and as well as scales. So your 4 students, they are 4 in number, so your 4 students have both, that is pencils and as well as scales. So here this statement can be mathematically written as, so number of students who brought pencils and as well as scales. So here pencils denoted by P and denoted by intersection. So pencils and indicates intersection, scales equals to, there are 4 in number. So here we can write and by means of the symbol called intersection. So here we have to find out the number of students who did not brought either pencils or scales. But first of all, let us find, so a number of students who have either pencils or scales or both. So here number of students who are having, but actually we have to find who do not have, but we are going to write the number of students who have either pencils or scales or both, can be written as or indicates. So here and indicates intersection and as well as, so here or indicates union. So based upon these two, so I am going to write the next one. So this step, that is number of students who have either pencils or scales or both, can be mathematically represented as, so that implies n of either pencils, number of students who had pencils, or indicates union or scales or both. P union S indicates number of students who are having pencils or scales or both. So here it is unknown, so here we can write it as question mark, but we know that. So here so in order to find out n of P union S, there is one formula, that is n of P union S is equals to n of P plus n of S minus n of P. Here it is of union, so we have to subtract n of P intersection S. Based upon this formula, so we can find out n of P union S. So here n of P union S is unknown. Let us write n of P union S as it is, but n of P, as per the statement, n of P is of 19, n of S is of 16, n of P intersection S is of 4. So here n of P is of 19 plus n of S is of 16 minus n of P intersection S is of 4. So that equals to, so here 19 I am going to write it as it is, or else when we simplify these two terms, that is 19 plus 16. So here both are of positive, 16 is of positive and 19 is also of positive, plus of plus is plus. Let us add. So by adding these two, so here 19 plus 16 is of 35 minus 4 as it is, then that equals to, 4 is of negative for further simplification and 35 is of positive, plus of minus is minus, let us subtract. So 35 minus 4, 5 minus 4 is of 1, 3 written as it is. That is, therefore, so n of P union S is equals to 31. This indicates, so here number of students who have either pencils or scales or both equals to 31. But total strength, but total number of students in a class is given by means of mu, that is n of mu is equals to 40. So here number of students is denoted by n of mu equals to 40. So here, but we have to find out, so number of students who did not, what I say, bring either pencils or scales or scales. So here number of students who do not have either pencils or scales is given by means of n of A union B whole dash. So n of A union B whole dash. So n of, whereas here instead of n A you say it is of P, n of P union S whole dash, because it is of pencils and as well as scales, n of P union S whole dash. So here, whereas this is of question mark. So here we have to find out number of students who do not have either pencils or scales is given by means of, so mathematically n of, so here P union S gives us which have pencils or scales. So complement mean, so do not have pencils or scales. So here P union S indicates, so number of students who got as a P union S, pencils or scales, given by means of 31. So here when it is of complement, so complement indicates, so number of students who do not have, complement indicates do not have either pencils or scales. So here now n of P union S is equals to 31 and n of mu is equals to 40. So here, so n of mu is given by means of 40, this is the total strength of the class, and n of P union S is given by means of 31, which we got 31. It indicates number of students who have either pencils or scales or both is given by means of 31, but we need, so number of students who do not have represented by means of dash, that is complement, who do not have either pencils or scales is question mark. But we know that, so n of P union S whole dash is given by means of n of mu minus n of P union S, then that is equals to, so based upon this formula, so n of mu is given by means of 40 minus n of P union S is by means of 31. So for further simplification, so here 31 is of negative and 40 is of positive, plus of minus is of minus, let us subtract, 40 minus 31 is of 9. So here to assess the sign of 9, so 40 is greater than 31, 40 sign is of positive, therefore 9 assess the sign of positive. So here hence number of students who did not bring either pencils or scales, so here bring either pencils or scales are of 9 in number.